I've already taken still photos of the vehicle and photos with an emphasis on the body panel gaps, which typically I review when I'm at my desk in front of a monitor with some grid lines. But here we go. Looking at the right front bumper area, I was kind of come in here real quick and I just do some light tapping, right? Make sure nothing's loose. It looks like they just recently washed it, which is kind of nice. And like I just had to wipe it down just briefly. Lenses look good. Just a little bit of cloudiness there, just a little bit, just right here, right? But still looks decent. Don't see any cracks or chips in the lens at all. Okay. Dash grille, good. Chrome in decent shape. Again, just a little bit of markings there or cloudiness, small area, and this is something I typically see on these vehicles with plastic lenses. Again, everything seems nicely secured. Let's start off with some hood panel readings. This meter here measures in the mils, so I'd say like a typical reading, factory paint work in your car, I don't know, anywhere from 3.5 to 6, somewhere around there. But probably on average maybe a 4 or 4.5. But here we go. Okay, 4.5. Okay, so good so far. Fender, this is left fender. Let me try that again. All right, 7.5. That's a high reading. Let's see what the other fenders or other panels measure out at. So 7.5, 5.5. Here on the pillar, I tried wiping this clean, but it's some kind of gooey residue. I don't pick at it too much, but it seems like it's something that'll come out. But I'm not saying it will, right? But it seems like it will. All right. Before I move on to the door, looking at the windshield, I check for any obvious chips, cracks, or signs of delamination. Even though the car is still relatively new, I don't expect to see any delamination, but I always check anyways. Just a couple little tiny rock chips right there. Okay. Decent. I'll be checking the wipers, make sure they was wiped properly. I've got a photo of the public VIN already, and then while I'm here, I like to get a view of the dash. I'm just checking for cosmetic imperfections or issues with material or workmanship. So looks good. And let's do a side panel view before going any further. I always like to look at the outside mirror for any scuffs. Those usually get beat up. Looks decent. I'll be sure to tap on it, make sure it's nicely secured. Right. Oh, looking at the front wheel well area. Not seeing anything obvious right now. I got a glare on the screen, so it's hard for me to see. Typically, I look at this when I'm at my desk. The tires, 255/40 ZR 1899Y is the speed rating there. DOT looks like 2015 is when it was manufactured. The rims have curb rash here and pretty deep over here as well. When I look at the rotors, I can see a bit of a lip, wear lip, and brake pads look they look good. Plenty of material still on there, about maybe 5 or 6 millimeters. Typically, they're about anywhere from 8 to 10, brand new. So pads look good. Probably the next brake service, rotors will need to get turned or replaced, depending on the wear thickness on that. All right. So outside mirror, good. Let's get some door readings. 4.5. And 4.5 good so far. Glass, again, no signs of chips or cracks. It looks like it's got the aftermarket tint. Looks good. I'll check for bubbling or any defects there. Let's get a quick shot of the roof. Can't get no meter readings here. All right. And I always like to check the pillars here. All right, left rear door. 4.5 and 4. So far, so good. Always check this area here for deep nail scratches. Excuse me. All right, good. And I always like to open and close the doors as well, just to see how well they open and close. Just want to listen to that solid noise. Very solid. Okay, good. All right. Rear door, I forgot if I got readings or not, so I'll just do it again. Or for the first time. 4. Looking good. No scratches there. Good. All right, left rear wheel well area. Again, I can't see the screen because of the glare right now. Alright, and rear tires, don't see any sidewall damage. These tires manufactured in 2016 as well. Rims look decent, rotors okay, and here's a shot of the brake pad. I want to see if I can see it myself. Alright, so yeah, plenty of material still on there. Moving towards the back panel view. Kind of just working our way, starting down and then up. What we're checking for is any signs of waviness, dings, or dents. Some stuff that you typically wouldn't see if you were to look at it dead on. So this is the best way I find to look at the panels. Looking at the bumper area, again, just a couple of taps. Don't see any scuff marks back here. It looks decent. Lenses, all right. Chrome work good. Couple more taps, all right. Looks nicely secured. Let's get some trunk readings. 4 and 4.5, good. Rear window, the defroster lines look like they're all intact. And let's get a view from the back side there. And let's get a side panel view. All right, I've already looked at the fuel filler area. Oh, door's locked on me. I didn't see no issues there. 4.5, 4, 4.5. So far, from what I can tell, is the left front fender has signs of respray. Everything else is looking as if it was original, based on the readings that I'm seeing. And right rear wheel, it's got the curb rash, Michelin tires, no sidewall damage. Shot of the rotors and then of the brake pad. Open and close. Oh. All right, here we go. Good. Okay, now I can open the filler area. Good pigtail on there, cap on there, good, nice and clean and intact. Door readings. 4, 4.5, side pillars, good. View of the roof line here. Right door, 4.5 and 5. Let's try that again. 4, 4.5, 5. Okay, 4.5. Outside mirror, good. No obvious signs of scrape marks there. Windshield from this view here. Okay. Looks good. And the dash. Let's get the hood readings from the right side. 4, 3.5, good. Fender, 5, and 4. Left or right front wheel well area. Nice shot of the strut assembly there. Moving on. Don't see any sidewall damage to the tires, but again, some pretty deep curb rash there. Rotors, I can see the wear on it, the grooves, and the lip outer edge. Shot of the brake pad there as best as I can. Let's do a little pushback view here. And going back to the left front fender. So this is the one that I suspect that's got the repaint. What I want to do now is just kind of look at different angles now to see if it's obvious as far as like the color shade. And I mean, it looks pretty dead on. It just seems like it may be a slightly darker tint. I mean, very slight. If I didn't know that the paint meter measurements were off on the left fender, I probably wouldn't even know about looking for a repaint here. Also like to run my hand across the panel itself just to check for any signs of waviness or workmanship issues. So it looks like it was nicely done. All right, moving on. In this segment of the video, what I like to do is I like to capture the startup. That way you can experience what I am while I'm here. We're going to listen to see how it starts. Is it a quick start or does it sound sluggish? We want to see all the lights illuminate as well as far as the fault lights on the instrument cluster, and then ultimately clear out once the self-diagnostic cycles out. If some lights remain on, then we know it's an issue. But here we go. So as of right now, we do see the replace key battery fault indicator on right now. So start it up. Okay, I see all the lights illuminating there. Check engine. The airbag just went out, and I saw the low tire pressure monitor light on as well. Let's see here. So RPM is just looks like it's above 500, maybe floating around 600 or so. Outside temperature is 99 degrees. I don't know how accurate that is because it doesn't feel that hot. Out mileage is 80,163. I'm gonna come back and we'll touch on the electronics and the interior, but not on this segment here. And I've already plugged in the diagnostic meter as well, because I'm gonna be running that because sometimes it takes a while to check the whole system. But meanwhile, I can at least start checking the rest of the car. We're also gonna walk towards the back of the vehicle, and we're gonna take a look at the exhaust. We don't want to see any smoke, black, blue, gray, white, any of that, because it does mean something. Condensation is okay from right now, from where I'm standing, and then we'll zoom in a little bit here. I don't see any soot or smoke coming out. Good. I'm just listening here for a second, and I don't hear any misfires either. So again, no excessive soot coming out of the tailpipes or smoke coming out. All right. Going towards the engine bay area. Before we talk about the engine, I also checked the underside of the hood, make sure the insulation is intact. The hood shocks support the weight of the panel as well, and I verified that the date on the emission sticker matches that of the car as part of the process. Also look at bolts that support the hood to the hinges. If they're chipped, it's an indication that it's been tampered with, painted, repaired, or adjusted, and I'm not seeing that. The other reason I like looking at the insulation is because on some vehicles, rodents, they like to nest in the engine bay area, and for whatever reason they like chewing at that. And I also look at as much as I can. There's not much room to actually see anything, but I actually go in there with a light, and I'm just checking for any type of chewed up wires, right? Nesting, or even oil leaks or anything with the engine itself. So that's part of the process. Looking at the brake fluid, it looks a little bit on the dark side, but still okay. That caught my attention. See how that's smoking? That's not good. Okay. Moving on here, I've removed the cap for the oil filler because some people, they can get tricky, right? If they skip the oil changes, they'll clean the dipstick so it looks clean, but they always forget about that. And then I looked at the metal; it doesn't look like it's stained. It's just got a light tan color to it, which is good. So it looks like the oil changes were probably done regularly, or at least not abused. I got a good shot of the engine belt when the engine was not running, right? And I checked the oil level, seemed okay, and didn't look too bad. Also, I opened up the coolant as well. Didn't see any signs of cross-contamination. I'm going to stay quiet again here for a second here, and then we're going to listen to the engine. All right, so in listening to the engine, I don't hear any obvious noises like deep sounds, meaning, like a crankshaft or valves. There is a ticking noise, but that is those are the fuel injectors firing. All right, let's walk into the bay area real quick, or in the interior, and just take a quick look at the gauges. RPM still maintaining. Temperature is just below the 80 mark, so half. Looks good. And I'm gonna end this segment here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually I'm going to close the hood. I'm going to let it run for about 15 or 20 minutes while I'm still checking the rest of the car, because I want to see if it overheats. And it also gives a chance for the suspension to get heat soaked. So when I go on the road test, if there's anything loose, hopefully I can pick up on it during that road test. the car about 3 or 4 miles already. I'm in a residential area now, but I'll just go over the quick operations here. Steering is straight when I let go of the steering wheel. Also, when I apply the brakes, there's no shimmy. I've tried it at higher speeds as well. So braking is dead on. Again, no shakes coming from the steering wheel or any vibration felt from the car. Transmission shifted seamlessly, real smooth, great acceleration performance on the engine when I get on it. Let's see here, windshield or wipers worked, horn works. I checked the cruise control, AC blows cold, heater's good. Pretty much, I checked every little button, switch, and lever I can get my hands on, and they seem to all operate. There were some faults in the system, but when I checked like the seat operation, that all seemed to work as well. So windows all operated. What else? I think I mentioned that there were some faults in the system. There's a little tear on the seat here, and you probably can't see it, but I got pictures of it here on the driver's side seat. Come to a stop here. And I think I mentioned the AC's blowing cold, heater was working good. I even checked the heated seats and the cooling seats. Seat adjustments all worked well. I'm already getting back to the dealership already. I might just do a little segment if I can with the acceleration, but the traffic is brutal here. But other than that, I'll be heading back to the dealership.